Welcome to the AloKarma podcast, featuring the series of Hidden Heroes Spotlight Black Excellence. Here, I report on a variety of hidden heroes who are living in their purpose to advance, heal, protect, and advocate for the BIPOC community, highlighting historical figures and present-day heroes alike. Please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Frederick Joseph, aka Fred T. Joseph, is an author, poet, and philanthropist. He grew up in Yonkers, New York. He's a 3-time best-selling author recognized by New York Times and USA Today. His popular work includes a poetry collection, We Alive, Beloved, 2 nonfiction books, Patriarchy Blues, and The Black Friend. Collaborative work with his wife entitled Better Than We Found It, a children's book, The Courage to Dream, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and This Thing of Ours, released May of 2025, marking his most recent bestseller. In regards to philanthropy, in 2018, Fred created a campaign to raise $10,000 for Black children in the Harlem Boys and Girls Club to experience the Black Panther movie. He exceeded his fundraising goal with earning $42,000 by the time he was featured on The Ellen Show alongside Chadwick Boseman, the late lead actor who was portrayed as the Black Panther, to promote the campaign. He shared how viral the campaign became, encouraging other public figures, celebrities such as Soledad O'Brien and Snoop Dogg, who continued with the fundraiser to expand to all children nationwide to experience the Black Panther film. The Ellen Show gifted Fred $20,000 personally as a token for his inspiring work. As a thought leader and activist, Fred continues to promote education and news relating to the political, social, and cultural climate, combating racism, misogyny, homophobia, transphobia, and xenophobia. All of his current viewpoints on various topics, including the Palestine-Israel conflict in Gaza, the DEI rollback by various corporations, including most popularly Target, or U.S. politics and its current impact in media and social media, can be found on his digital platforms such as Substack, TikTok, and Instagram, to name a few. I'll be linking the socials in the description box, in addition to his website, so you can check out his writing catalog and his journey in activism. I really appreciated his take on CNN back in February during the DEI rollbacks, particularly with Target. As you know now, Frederick is an author, and he basically said, buy my books directly or from Black-owned platforms, because the hell with Target. I love that he had used the term pendulum swing of capitalism, and I thought that was well said. How do you go from 2020, on the back of the death of George Floyd and the sensationalism behind that? You see all these corporations with the Black Power fist and their logos talking about inclusivity and diversity and how we're here to support communities of color and marginalized people and the LGBTQ and women and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And like he said, you're building wealth off of that. And now, after 5 years of doing that, you just flip the script and buckle to this current regime. It's disingenuous, and it shows the true colors of these corporations. And at the end of the day, it's not about the things that they claim. As we all unfortunately know, this is the same song and dance we've heard time and time again. It always goes down to money. It always goes down to protecting the financial interests. That always seems to be what outweighs humanity. Frederick was like, the hell with you guys. I'm not gonna support a corporation or a conglomerate that's not going to support people who look like me and use us as basically like costume jewelry when it's convenient. That's effed up. I definitely encourage you all to check his work out. Patriarchy Blues, The Black Friend, those are two really great books to check out. This is a black man who had the courage to write and express out loud the challenges of navigating being a black man in this country, or just in general, and having to figure out as a black man where he fits and measuring his identity to these superficial, rigid standards of what it means to be a man and the stereotypes that's associated with that. What I know about black men is that they have to confine themselves to this small space just to feel valid, just to feel adequate, just to feel like he is worthy. And it is such a horrible position for a person to have to be in. Being a human being, there's so much to that. It's like men, and then specifically men of color, they have this burden to have to sort of like bury themselves, bury the things that make them human, so as to not appear weak, as to not appear less than, as to not appear fragile or small. And then what's crazy is in them trying to do that, the fragility comes out anyway. And then there's resentment that comes from it, and these unhealthy ways of processing their emotions, and they just push everything down and repress and suppress, and it makes them miserable. And then they make us all miserable. And it's just this negative feedback loop. Shout out to Frederick Joseph for being a pioneer, for being a positive, endearing humanitarian that is a heteronormative black man that is out here advocating for human rights of all kinds and still standing in his blackness, and also defining manhood in his way for himself, and encouraging other brothers that are similar and even younger to define their identity in their way. And it's a beautiful thing. It's an absolutely beautiful thing. Definitely check him out. Please support him. I will be linking his socials and his information in the description box. And thank you so much for listening. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next episode of Hidden Heroes Spotlight Black Excellence.
Issues, because your Substack was about more than just retail sales, but it was entitled, "Don't Buy My Books at Target." Why? Why is that your directive?
So the reality of it is many companies and institutions have been announcing their rollback of DEI. And what that means is that they're no longer going to be investing publicly in Black and brown and marginalized communities. When in reality, they spent the last 5 years or so since 2020 making money by saying that they were invested in said communities, right? So essentially trying to ride a trend that isn't really a trend. What we understand is that DEI not only makes companies better, but it improves the climate for the workplace for people who are at these institutions, at these companies. And so for me, who's had a good relationship with Target, I've had national campaigns rolled out there for my books. I've had exclusive editions of my books at Target. I don't want to be a part of a pendulum swing of capitalism, right? If you're going to invest in me and my community and other communities that I care about, it has to be consistent. And if not, then I'm not going to support you, and I'm not going to have my readers support you.